What's the best derby in world football? This is going to be a new series on the channel where I take a deep dive into some of the best derbies from around the world, and today we've got 3 of the best. We've got Roma versus Lazio, we've got Boca Jnrs versus River Plate, and we've got Rangers versus Celtic. Right, let's start with Roma versus Lazio. Lazio were founded first. They were founded in 1900 and they took their blue and white colours from the Greek flag, a nod to ancient Olympic Games. 27 years later, the government wanted to form all existing Roman clubs together so that one club could represent the capital. Lazio are the only club to refuse, thus forming AS Roma, but also the Derby della Capitale. Over nearly 100-year history of this fixture, we've seen it all. We've seen it reach boiling point time and time again. It's got a lot of passion, unreal tifos, on-the-field dramatics. Lazio have won 51 derbies, but Roma have won 67. Lazio have won the league twice, once in 1974 and again in 2000, and by 2000, Roma had also only won twice. But that following season, you know Roma just couldn't have that. They couldn't be tied with Lazio, so they went ahead and won the league again, so they're now on 3 and Lazio are on 2. The two have actually only played in one domestic final or in any final for that fact, which is crazy to think. And that final was back in 2013 when they met in the Coppa Italia, hosted in Roma of course. Lazio won that game 1-0 with a late goal which resulted in some serious bragging rights for Lazio fans. So that's it, that's Roma versus Lazio. Which club do you prefer? On this, we've probably got arguably one of the best derbies ever. It's the superclasico between River Plate and Boca Juniors. The story starts for both of these clubs in the Boca neighbourhood of Buenos Aires. River Plate came first in 1901, a merger of 2 clubs taking their name from the English translation of Rio de la Plata that runs through the city. Boca were then formed 4 years later by a group of Greeks and Italians who dedicated their name to the neighbourhood itself. And then River moved up north to an affluent area of Belgrano, which really made that local rivalry becoming a city-wide event. Boca have won the derby 91 times and River have won it 86. But this game saw its biggest moment back in 2018 when both clubs reached the Copa Libertadores final. This is insane. This is the South American Champions League. This is like if Barcelona met Real Madrid in the Champions League final. This was huge. Fans across the world had their eyes on Argentina for this fixture. It was actually going to be across 2 legs. The first leg was hosted in Boca at La Bombonera, but after the Boca bus was attacked by River fans before the game, the kickoff was delayed a fair few times to be fair, and maybe should have even been called off, but eventually the clubs did play out a 2-2 draw. And after these riots and after all the drama that happened over this, it got too violent, it got too crazy to host the second game in Argentina. They moved it to Madrid to play on a neutral ground. River Plate won that game 3-1, winning the final 5-3 on aggregate, and this game itself shows you everything you need to know about this derby. It's one of the fiercest, it's one of the most violent. It shows you the good and the bad, the darker side of it all, and this is exactly why the Superclasico is one of the best derbies in the world. And finally, we're taking a trip up to Glasgow for the Old Firm derby. Rangers were formed first in 1872, but then Celtic followed in 1888, meeting for the first time later that year, and during which a commentator referred to the game as like 2 old firm friends, and that's where the name Old Firm comes from. Don't know what he was on about though, old firm friends, they've never been friends. This derby is one of the best in the world because it's a derby that goes deeper than football. Social and religious backgrounds from both clubs really fuels this derby. If you're a Celtic fan, you're most likely a Catholic, a Republican, and most likely identify as an Irish Scot. And if you're a Rangers fan, you're most likely a Protestant, a Loyalist, and identify more as British. And a lot of these beliefs can be found in the flags and the identity of both these 2 clubs, thus giving this game more passion than your ordinary football game. And yeah, they do feel like they play each other every other week, it feels, but doesn't matter because each game is still as fierce as the next. And also, we're talking about 2 clubs that are really obviously dominate Scottish football, and like so their trophy records are so close. Celtic have won 53 trophies, Rangers have won 55. But Celtic have won 41 cups compared to Rangers' 34. So domestically, Celtic have 115 trophies, but Rangers have 117, so it's so close. But Celtic do have Rangers beat in one key area, and that's in Europe, with their Lisbon Lions squad winning the European Cup in 1966-67, giving them the European edge over Rangers. So that's Celtic versus Rangers. Where do you lie on that debate? So that's it. That's 3 of some of the best derbies in world football. Let me know what your favourite is in the comments below. But also, like I said at the start of the video, this is going to be a series. I really enjoy doing, these short little deep dives into these games. So, let me know what other derbies I should cover in the next episode. If you enjoyed the video, though, I do really appreciate it. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, and I'll see you next week.